It's honestly hard to believe that it's been 5 whole years since I started sharing my art with the world. And in that time, so much has happened. Good things like meeting new friends in the art community and sharing my stories with those very same friends from all over the world. And even during the most stressful of times, which, let's not kid ourselves, the past few years I've had plenty of, something about just sitting down and drawing a picture has been quite useful when dealing with it. I've created so many different characters and places, just from a blank piece of sketchbook paper, a few Sharpies and pens, and especially a lot of imagination. Whether it be drawings about some kids traveling to a magical place just beyond the trees, or a magical place filled with fairies and mermaids, or even a magical place filled with witches and little furry kittens. God, I've created a lot of magical places, haven't I? Well, be that as it may, it's been so much fun sharing my work with the world. And to think it all started with a simple drawing of a girl, a boy, and a dog. Hi, my name is Monsterboy Roc, and welcome to the show. 5 years ago, I shared my very first episode of Drawing with Monsterboy Roc right here on YouTube, with a drawing of River, Russell, and Sam, the first 3 characters I've ever created. And since it is my 5th anniversary of sharing my art and these videos with all of you, I decided I wanted to do something very special for it. You see, outside of River, Russell, and Sam, I have created so many other characters spread across 3 different projects, of which I've been continuing tirelessly to develop almost every day. And I've counted. I've created nearly 70 different characters spread across these 3 different projects. That's quite a bit if you ask me. Now, in my first 3 anniversary specials, I drew special drawings with all of the characters I had created within the span of the year of which I drew said drawings, and in the 2 years since then, I've created a few more characters to add to those stories. And that got me thinking. I've drawn all of these characters that I've introduced separately, but what if I did a special drawing where I drew all of my characters I've ever created together? Well, my friends, that is exactly what I am going to do right here, right now, on the Drawing with Monsterboy Roc 5th Anniversary Special. So without any further delay, I shall tell you and show you the process of making this big 5th anniversary drawing with all of my characters. Now, there are 3 things I did to create this big 5th anniversary piece, and the very first thing I did was to simply draw and color all of my characters. And what I decided to do to save myself any headaches if I made any super big mistakes in the drawing process of these characters was I decided to draw all of the characters separately into groups of 2 to 5 characters per sheet of paper. I usually don't do my art this way, but for a piece this big, it would be way too time-consuming and stress-inducing if I made any super big errors while drawing some of these characters, and then I would have to restart the whole piece over again. And believe it or not, I did make a few mistakes while drawing some of these characters, seeing as I've drawn some of them more than others. With that said, let's see the drawing process of all these characters, shall we? Okay, I'm going to show you the process of the characters I drew in order, starting with some of the Secret Beauty characters. First up, we have River, and her little dog Sam, and next to them is River's best friend Russell. There we go. Now I will go over to my tablet, I scan the drawing into my computer, and I shall now color River, Sam, and Russell digitally with Clip Studio Paint Pro, and I shall repeat this process for the remaining drawings. So next up, I will draw and color Jessica with a little frog buddy on top of her head, then Melanie, and her brother Frankie, and Petunia. Then we have Lamar, his sister Lisa, and Stuart on this page. Now I'll start drawing and coloring some Wilma and Carl characters with, well, Wilma and Carl themselves. And then next to them will be their friends Jennifer and Tia. Next up are Carl's two siblings and his mom from the story Carl Finds a Home. And next to them is the Secret Beauty neighborhood cat, Whiskers. Now I'm going to take a breather from working on some humans, cats, and dogs to draw and color a bunch of fluttering butterflies, as well as 3 little crows. Now that that's done, I'll start working on some fairies from the Magical Land Adventure. Fuchsia, her sister Holly, and then Dana, and finally, Gwendolyn. Now back to the Secret Beauty. Here are Miss Holland, Russell's doctor, Mike Carter, River's grandmother's friend, Mr. Carlino, and finally, Russell's very special piano-playing robot. Next up from Magical Land are some mermaids and mermen. First up will be Martha, then her best friend Jacob, and Martha's 2 older siblings, Benjamin and Annabella. Then I will draw and color May and Kaya from Magicaland's Fish Stop Gift Shop. And finally, the evil, nasty Sarah the Sea Witch. And now, here are two of Magicaland's human characters, Celeste and her best friend, Francine. Okay, now for some of Magicaland's other inhabitants. Here is Clara, the nice cloud demon of Magicaland. Then her evil sister, Clarice. And finally, Clarice's and Sarah the Sea Witch's third wheel, Belinda the Blaze Queen. Alrighty, back to some Wilma and Carl characters, and I shall draw and color all four of Wilma's little cousins next. In addition, I will also draw and color on this page Celeste's little sister Bella from Magicaland, holding her favorite little fairy doll. And now, here is Clara and Clarice's Cloud Demon parents, their father Cal, and their mother Camille. And next to them is the Secret Beauty character, Eleanor. These two characters right here are Lamar and Lisa's mother, Isabella Margaret, from The Secret Beauty, and the mother of Martha, Benjamin, and Annabella from the Magical Land Adventure. And I'm drawing them as ghosts because, well, they have passed on from their respective worlds. Okay, next up for me to draw and color are Wilma's two aunts, as well as her two uncles. And now I will draw and color the last Wilma and Carl characters left to draw and color, Wilma's mother and father. Also on this page are the last characters from the Magical Land adventure I need to draw and color. Celeste and Bella's father, Mr. Waterbrook, and their mother, Mrs. Waterbrook. Now for the remaining Secret Beauty characters. I'll start with River's mother, Julie. Then her grandmother, Rosalinda. And her father, Stephen. And next to him is Jessica's mother, Frances. Next up will be Russell's mother, Ellen. Next to her on this side of the page will be Lamar and Lisa's father, Bill. And on this side of her will be her husband, Michael, who is holding one of his very special science kits. And next to him will be Stuart's mother, Paula. And last but not least, the final page of characters to draw and color will be Frankie and Melanie's father, Tomohiro, and their mother, Robin. And finally, Petunia's mother, Penny, and her father, Paul. Now that all of the characters have been drawn and colored, it's time for the second part of making this gigantic anniversary piece of all of my characters together, and that is to put all of my characters together. Now, how am I going to do that, you may ask, seeing as I've drawn all of these characters on separate sheets of paper? Well, I shall show you. Here I am in Adobe Premiere Elements 15. This is my editing software I've been using to edit almost all of my videos throughout the past 5 years. Now I will show you how I put everyone together into one big celebratory piece. Now the first thing I did was put all the drawings I finished into this folder. And what I'm going to do now is open the folder up, and I'm going to take each drawing I did like so, and put them into my timeline. And I will place each and every drawing of these characters on top of one another. I am also chroma keying the blank colored backdrops out of each drawing. Now this is another very big reason why I decided to draw all of these characters into separate groups and use different colored backdrops to key out. By keying out the background of one of these pages, I won't be affecting the chroma keying of any of the other pages laid on top of the next. Therefore, I won't be accidentally keying out any part of the characters if they have similar shades of colors on any of the other pages. Now, after keying the backdrops out, I'm gonna play around with the sizing of the character pages, as well as the placements of each of them, to get the piece looking just right. Now this took a little bit of time, about an hour or so to get it all to work, but when all was said and done, this is what the piece looks like with every single character of mine together. Well, now it's time for the third and final thing I did for this big 5th anniversary piece, and that was to create a backdrop for this piece. Now I decided to keep the backdrop nice and simple. First, I drew 2 little trees on each side of the page. Then, I drew a grassy hill behind the trees, with some leaves of more trees coming up from behind the hill. And lastly, I drew a little pond for the magical land mermaids and mermen to swim in. Now back to my art software to add in the color. I started with the grass, then I colored in each and every one of the tree leaves, and the bark of the trees, of course. Then I digitally added in the sun, the sky, and some clouds, which I had a little trouble with at first, but I got it eventually. And finally I colored in the pond and added in some waves. Now I just have to drag the finished backdrop here into my editing timeline, and there we have it! All I have to do now is save this as a freeze frame, and the piece will be complete. But, oh, wait a minute! When I do that, these 2 black bars will be saved alongside it. Well, that's not a problem though, because I can just go back to my art software here and change the size of the page like so. There! And with that, my friends, here it is, my very big 5th anniversary piece featuring each and every one of my practically 70 characters from my 3 projects, Wilma and Carl, The Magical Land Adventure, and The Secret Beauty. Well, that brings us to the end of Drawing with Monsterboy Roc's 5th anniversary special. If you want to see this big 5th anniversary piece I created for this very special occasion, then all you have to do is go onto Instagram.com/TheSecretBeautyDrawings, Facebook.com/TheSecretBeautyDrawing, or Twitter.com/SecretBeautyArt. The links to all 3 of these websites will be in the description down below. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video today because I had a lot of fun making it myself, as I have been for every single video and drawing that I've created throughout these past 5 years. I absolutely love making these videos and sharing my art with the world with all of you, and I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you who has ever taken the time to sit down and watch one of my videos, or read one of my comics, or even just take the slightest glance at one of my drawings. Your encouragement and support is the reason I continue making my art and these videos featuring all of these characters, and will hopefully continue to make new art and videos featuring these characters for many years to come. And from the very bottom of my heart, I would just like to say to all of you, thank you. Thank you to my family, my friends, my online friends.
Even me?
Even you, Sir Seymour. Sir Seymour, where'd you come from?
From the magic of the jump cut, Roc.
Oh, I see. Well, my friends, I think that just about does it for this video. I will be back with more new art and more new videos very soon. In the meantime, though, I hope you all have a very nice day. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and for all of your love and support throughout these past 5 years of Drawing with Monsterboy Roc. And here's to 5 more. Take care now.